Welcome back. I'm glad you're still with us. Right now, if you are just joining us, we are transitioning straight into our Kickstarter discussion, and we are looking at the approval by the Confederation of African Football of Mandela National Stadium, Namboole, here to be able to take on international games. In a letter dated 12 May 2024 addressed to FUFA CEO Edgar Watson, CAF granted FUFA an approval status to host international matches at the refurbished Mandela National Stadium, confirming they were satisfied with the new developments. How does this put Uganda's football progress on the program? We are joined by the Deputy Chief Executive Officer at the Federation of Uganda Football Associations, Decolas Kiza. Many thanks for joining us.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure being here this morning.
And congratulations as FUFA on a major approval from the Confederation of African Football. Many of us have been waiting for this and are looking forward to the international games that can or will be hosted at Namboole Stadium. First, how did you receive this particular news of approval?
Well, it was not so much of a surprise, because this was the fourth inspection we have had. So the progressive inspection reports were giving us some bit of green light. And our colleagues in Algeria had already asked us to clear the advance team for visa. So, and that was way before the inspection was actually scheduled. So we thought that could not have happened if there was no green light behind the curtain. So it didn't come as a surprise to us, but it was a welcome thing, because it has been very, very hectic for us to host our matches outside Uganda.
That is right.
So it is very good news for all of us, especially Ugandans, but for FUFA, it is a special one.
So what does it take to be CAF ready to host games?
Yeah, of course, there are various aspects. We are doing very well with the pitch, the play area, the field of play, including the training pitch itself, the ground.
That's right.
But there are a few issues that we are doing badly, including the floodlights. The floodlighting is not yet perfect. The kickoff time has not yet been fixed. It could as well be 6 p.m., meaning we might have to play under floodlights. The VVIP area is yet to be to the standard required. The media tribune has a few issues, and we will be addressing those ones. The scoreboard, that screen up there, is yet. So we have a consignment. The contractor have a consignment in shipment, which we think when it finally arrives, it will be able to sort most of these missing gaps. If you noticed, Namboole, the tartan, the athletics tracks are not yet fixed, so we need to fix them so that we don't have that temporary situation when we are in a match situation. So there are a few T's to cross and a few I's to dot. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So that means our the nearest games that will be hosted include Botswana and Algeria. Has the back end preparations gotten cleared?
Yes, the way the situation was at the time of inspection is is good enough for us to host these two matches. But as you know, we are lined up to most likely host Chan when CAF finally decides on the dates. But we are also preparing for AFCON 2027, and we have a deadline date, 31st December 2025. For us to have everything that it takes as far as facilities are concerned. So it's a good step, and we hope when the shipment finally docks in Mombasa and finally Kampala, all these other missing gaps will have been filled.
Okay, now let me, before I go to what is rather a technical question, let me just go to the sentimental aspect of football. We've played many games away that were supposed to be played at home.
Yes,
and that includes the game against Malawi. No, this was last played at Namboole, but there are games that we played in Cameroon.
Yes, the one against Guinea, the one against
we also played
Somalia.
in Egypt.
We also played in Egypt for
ostensibly
most of our competitions.
At home. And of course, the perception was different. Did that affect the conduct of the players, their psychology, and could it have been different if those games were played?
Yeah, definitely. When we are organizing an international match, we use a lot of manpower.
That's right.
But if you are hosting away, because of the cost implications, you have to use a skeleton staff, your own skeleton staff, and then pick on a few local-based staff. That is not good. Then secondly, the 12th player, the fan, is very, very important.
Very important.
But when you play in Egypt, you have maybe 500 spectators. And when you were in Cameroon, it was much less. So the 12th player, we missed the 12th player in all these competitions. The players, definitely, if I know that my son is up there in the stands, maybe I'll do something that pleases him. But now you can't have them unless you are sure they are on television, and that means the match is televised, which is likely and maybe not possible. So yeah, I think the players must have been missing home. And the technical staff also, when maybe there is a bit of pressure when you're at home for everything to be right. So I think we missed something, or we've been missing something. And of course the revenue and the other cost that we incur while we are away. Yeah, all that really counts against us. Okay,
I apologize, I didn't apologize, but indicated that this would be very sentimental because it's more down to the patriotism and the kind of passion that football enlists from people when they watch the games at home. You talked about everything being in place before 2027 AFCON, but before that we shall be hosting CHAN. CHAN is the tournament that allows players who are playing in local leagues to be able to undertake continental silverware. When you speak about everything being in place, what is required for us to host CHAN, but most importantly, be AFCON ready in 2027?
Hosting CHAN, we have agreed with our brothers in Kenya and Tanzania that Uganda will have 2 3-team groups, and that those require only one stadium. And we have earmarked Namboole as our main stadium for CHAN. We need about at least three training grounds, and government is working on us having Namboole, the training pitch outside, ready. If you noticed at the test matches, the washrooms, the changing rooms were just being worked on. We hope by then, in a few months, the changing rooms at the outside pitch will be ready. That will be pitch number 1. We are also looking at Kadiba, the stadium that FUFA is constructing in Namirembe, just in Rubaga division. And then we are also looking at either Kyambogo University or Makerere University. Government is working on making those ones ready shortly as training grounds. That will be it for CHAN. For AFCON, it is much, much bigger, but what is implied by the 31st of December 2025 is that we must have, at least Namboole should be ready. We have already, government has committed resources to construct a stadium in Hoima. So even if it is not yet ready, it must be in a state that will allow it to be ready by 1 year to the kickoff of the AFCON 2027. So at 31st December is a balance sheet date. We will take stock, CAF will take stock and see and evaluate the preparedness of the host nations for 2027. So a series of other issues, the hotels, the hospitals, the training grounds again for AFCON. We will improve on the 3 to make it 12 for AFCON, because AFCON will have 2 4-team groups. So so we need to be ready. There is a training ground in Masindi, training ground in Hoima, training ground at the stadium itself, and a series of others around Kampala that will improve on the list of the 3 that will be ready for CHAN.
All right. Now, there is a bone of contention, especially when it comes to utilization of Namboole Stadium. Many times, these facilities are used by other actors, including churches and then the concert operators and organizers. to the detriment of the integrity of the pitch, especially after the crowds have been accommodated. I do not know whether the current construction phase has that particular issue taken care of, or there has been an agreement reached on the how and what between FUFA, concert organizers, as well as the men of God.
As you must be aware, the Namboole Stadium is owned by the two ministries of Education and Sports and Finance, Planning and Economic Development. Those are the shareholders of Namboole. Under this arrangement of renovation, the contractor is the Engineers Brigade, UPDF Engineers Brigade. The consultant is the Ministry of Works, and Namboole is the client. Ministry of Education is the client. So for us, FUFA is only a special tenant.
Okay.
So it is not much for us to dictate. But we've been, through our collaborative initiatives, we've been discussing all this. And one of our suggestions is that government needs to provide a maintenance budget for Namboole, such that these other users that destroy or hinder the use of the stadium by other users, especially this special tenant, actually uses the stadium according to what is available there. There is a way of protecting the ground that is done in other fields.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. Has there been any benchmarking taking place?
There has been a lot of benchmarking, obviously, by the contractors, but we want to advise, because this is an expensive thing, it's an and the government must be ready to provide these resources for us to be able to, whoever goes there for a meeting, for a conference, for a church occasion, which is very much welcome, should not be able to damage the playing surface.
Okay.
So it is up to the owners, it is up to the management of the stadium, but the request of the special tenant is that we should be able to still continue to use the facility, because we are the main revenue earners for the facility itself.
All right, two very last questions, and the first of those two is the state of the game in the country. Many people are looking at the fact that there has been the marketing component of football that has seen itself go under the power of marketing that European football has occasioned upon us. I don't know how the Football Federation is handling aspects of popularization of the game in order to match or size up to what the effects of the global game is doing. It's a quite wide question, but it's one that stakeholders out there need to understand the how of how FUFA is going about it.
There's been a lot of so many strides taken in the direction of us taking football the way it is on the globe, and one area really is that marketing area. What we are trying to do is to advise the various stakeholders, especially those people who are directly within the football, especially the clubs, to try and embrace some of these, because it is those very interventions that the Federation has used to in itself raise its own revenue.
That's right. And
if you know, we have multiplied our revenue 10 times in a decade. So it is more of capacity building, benchmarking, and of course it requires resources and a lot of brainwashing for us to undertake. And we shall continue with those initiatives and try to match the globe, of course, given the situation in which we operate. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Kiza, we are out of time, but I would be remiss if I do not condole with the Federation of Uganda Football Associations and indeed the football fraternity across the country following the loss of Fred Kajoba, one of the very eminent actors in our game. I don't know whether there is any, I know there's a lot that is going on in terms of preparations and the ceremonies for send-off. Anything that you would love to share?
Yeah, really we want to condole with the rest of the football family that we did lose Fred Kajoba, and he was on duty in Tanzania. He has been coaching the goalkeepers of the Ihefu Football Club.
Yeah.
But I think what is happening right now, and everybody would wish to know, we have set Sunday as the date for burial. We have set up a committee at the Federation, and we are liaising very well with the family. We do expect the body anytime from, because by last time it hadn't left the Mbeya where he passed on. So as soon as it gets to Dar es Salaam, we should be able to give a concrete program for burial. But tentatively, he will be buried at his farmhouse in Kiwau, off Mitiana Road. Yes. And tentatively it is set for Sunday. But we will update the football family especially as soon as we get the body to Dar es Salaam.
Okay. Douglas Kiza, Football's Deputy CEO at FUFA, many thanks for the perspective shared on Namboole's availability, but most importantly, how best we are moving forward in regard to hosting games here. It's been a pleasure.
It's a pleasure too.
And that will do it for the Kickstarter discussion.